الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل بدعة ضلالة ثم أما بعد أيها الأحبة الكرام السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طيب إن شاء الله quick reminder or a quick point that after Fajr prayer and after Maghrib prayer it is highly recommended to say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulk wa lahul hamd yuhyi wa yumit wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir 10 times before you talk with anyone and before you move from your place. This is highly recommended to be recited after Fajr prayer and after Salat al-Maghrib. Partnership. We started yesterday talking about partnership, and partnership is a way to conduct business in Islam, and it is mentioned in the Quran, like for example in the ayat of mawaris, the distribution of inheritance, the word shuraka, فهم شركاء في الثلث, that they will be partners in 1/3 of the inheritance. Like if someone passed away and he left behind heirs, among them brothers and sisters from his mother's side, half brothers from the mother's side. Allah said their share will be 1/3 distributed equally among them. This is also a kind of sharaka or partnership, and it is also known in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and by the unanimous consensus of the scholars. They agreed on the basics and the principles, but there are some disagreement among when it gets to the details. We said we have two types of sharaka or partnership. In Arabic, the word is, you can say shirka على وزن حكمة or شركة على وزن عرفة or شركة على وزن نمرة. All of these three words are acceptable. You can say شركة, شركة or شركة. The same, it's the same, it's referring to the same word. So it's a partnership. And we said there are two types of partnership: trading partnership and agricultural partnership. The trading partnership also is subdivided into how many parts? 4, right? 4 parts. Either the two partners, so the first type or subdivision of trading partnership is al-mudaraba. Al-mudaraba is when one partner provide the capital and the other partner provide the effort or the labor or the service. Okay. The second type, which is called sharikat al-amwal, the financial partnership. Now, with this type of partnership, both partners should provide capital and effort, or capital and labor, or capital and services. Both of them. It does not have to be equal shares, but they have to both to provide both capital and effort. It's called sharikat al-amwal. Sharikat al-amwal. The third type, which is Sharikatul Abdan. Sharikatul Abdan, the two partners provide no capital, but they provide their effort, their labor, or their profession. And this is also called the partnership of profession. Like two people who have the same profession or even different professions, they get into a partnership. Okay, and agree to distribute whatever they earn among them according to a specific ratio. And the last type is called sharikat al-wujuh. Wujuh derived from al-wajaha, like two people or more who are distinguished in the community. They have name in the market, reputation, creditworthiness, and they start a company without having capital in their hands, but they use their wajaha to borrow money. Okay, so they purchase merchandise or things on credit and then invest or trade them, and then they distribute the shares in accordance to their the agreement between them. Okay, those are the 4 types of the trading partnership. On the other hand, the agricultural partnership is divided into 3 categories. Al-muzara'a, from the word zara'a, means to plant. Al-muzara'a. Here al-muzara'a is just like al-mudaraba, except its application is in the area of farming. So we have here a farmer who has the land, and also the land has the trees and the plants in it. Then he get into a partnership with somebody else for a portion, for a ratio of what this land produce. So here he provides the land and the trees. The other person has to do labor and work, take care of the farm, and then the product of that farm will be distributed among them according to the agreed ratio. It's called al-muzara'a. Al-musaqa, he provides the land and the plants, but the land has to be irrigated by the other partner. So the other partner is supposed to provide irrigation or watering of the plants and the trees. Also, the profits will be distributed among them according to an agreed ratio. And al-mugharasa is just to provide the land to the worker or to the labor or to the other partner, and he will do everything. He will, put the seeds, take care of everything, and also in return for a portion or a ratio of the profits. Those are the 3 types of the agricultural partnership. We covered al-mudaraba yesterday, which is the first type of the trading companies, the trading partnership. The second type of trading partnership is sharikatul amwal, the financial partnership. Financial partnership is also subdivided into 2. The first type of financial partnership is called sharikatul inan. Sharikat al-inan. Inan is derived from the word anna lahu, that something comes to his mind. This is the literal meaning of the word. Anna means something comes, or an idea that comes to one's mind. Okay, but here as a technical term, it's a partnership between 2 partners. We can translate it into unequal shares partnership. The 2 partners are not required to put the same amount of capital. It does not have to be 50-50, like each partner provide 50% of the total capital. It could be any ratio, 10%, 20%, 50%. Okay, whatever he put in is acceptable. Okay, and the shares are divided in accordance to what they agree on, not in accordance to what they put. Even if they put the same amount of capital, then they can agree, for example, that one partner gets 60% or 70% of the profits and the other get 30%. Okay, that's acceptable. Why? Because they put capital and effort. One of them might be more skillful than the other, has more skills and experience, and he did more effort than the other partner. So this is why he asked for more share, more ratio in the profit. Okay, and when we say ratio, it could be 1:2, for example, or 2:3. It should be like this, or percentage. Okay, it cannot be fixed amount. This applies for all types of partnership. It has to be in a ratio form, a percentage, or say 1:2, or in fraction, like 1/3 to 2/3, 1/4 to 3/4, like this. Some of the conditions related to this type of partnership, which is sharikatul inan. The first, that the partner's capital invested can be in any proportion, as we mentioned earlier. Also, the capital contributed can be money, cash money, or a commodity. Okay. But at the time of the establishment of the partnership, this commodity has to be evaluated in cash. Like you see today's price, today's value of this commodity. And this will be the capital provided by those partners. Or one partner can provide cash and the other one provide commodity, or both of them provide cash, or both of them provide commodity. This is acceptable. Some early scholars, they restrict it only to cash, because they say cash you can precisely describe, the amount. It is fixed, it's not changing or fluctuating like commodities. Because commodities maybe at the beginning of the day has a price, at the end of the day has a different price. But if it is cash money, it will be determined in a very precise manner. And their objective is to, as I said before, that to remove any possibility of having disputes in the future. At the time when they want to terminate the partnership, each one party has to have the capital to get first the capital that he put in. So if it is cash, it will be very easily and there will be no dispute. But if it is any other form of commodities, this might create dispute. So some early scholars, they put this as a condition, but other scholars disagree and they said anything that has a value and can be owned can be a capital in a partnership, providing that the price is determined in a very precise manner at the beginning or at the establishment of this partnership. And by the way, as I said, all of the partners have the right, equal right, to terminate the partnership anytime during the partnership. Like if there are 3 or 4 or 5 or more partners and one of them decided to get out of that partnership, he has the right to do that. This is not applied to contracts of exchange, because the contracts of exchange are called al-uqud al-lazima. When you enter into an exchange contract, it's binding, that you don't have, once you exhausted all the options to revoke, like the option of the meeting place, the conditions, if you exhausted all those options, then you don't have option to change your mind. Okay, unless with a mutual agreement of the two contracting parties. But here you have the right anytime. Okay, unless if the termination or the withdrawal of one of the partners will hurt or affect or harm other partners. Okay, and as I said, it is all the time good at the beginning of a partnership to lay conditions. Like you can lay a condition that anyone who withdraw prematurely, he would be penalized, or there is a penalty, especially like in mudaraba. Okay, just to make sure that everyone's right is protected. But in the case of loss, if there are losses, now the losses is distributed among the partners according to their shares, not according to the ratio they agreed on to distribute profits. So the profits are distributed according to the ratio agreed on, regardless of how much they put, regardless of their share. But the losses are distributed among them according to their shares. So if one of them put 1,000 and the other put 2,000, it will be a ratio of 1 to 2. So they share the losses like that. So the one who put forth $2,000, he will bear more losses than the one who put $1,000. Okay, so say the losses is like $300. So the one who put $2,000 will bear $2,000 of loss, $200 of losses, and the one whose share is $1,000, he will bear $100. Okay, and this is a general rule in all types of partnership, except for the two last divisions of financial for the trading partnership, which is the partnership of profession and the partnership of wujuh, because there is no capital. Okay, and inshallah we'll come to this later on. Those are the basic conditions for the first type of financial partnership. Okay, which is Sharikat Al-Inan, or an unequal shares partnership. The second type of the financial partnership, Sharikat Al-Amwal, is called Sharikat Al-Mufawada. Now, Sharikat Al-Mufawada could be translated as equal shares partnership, that each partner will put exactly the same shares, the same amount of capital. Okay. If we have 5 people, each one of them will put 20%. If there are 2, each one will put 50%. This is the condition. Each partner will put the same share, but as to the profits, they will also share the profits. Okay. Now, for the losses, they will share the losses because each one of them put the same amount of capital, the same shares. Now, because of that, Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he rejected this type of partnership because he says it involves some types of uncertainty. Because for definitely, not all of them is going to put exactly the same effort, but they're going to get the same share of the profit. Okay, so he rejected this, and the other scholars, the majority of the scholars, they accepted. They said yes, it could be estimated, and they should try. Each one should try to put an equal effort, and if at the end one of them put less effort than the others, and this with the acceptance and the agreement of the others, that will be acceptable. Okay. Now, each one of those partners have the right, okay, or he has the authority to manage. So they share the management of the company. They have equal power in managing that company. Okay. Now, for the first type of this financial type of partnership, which is Sharikat Al-Inan, like for example, the first type, which is each one is not required to put equal amount of shares, say, and as I said, it does not have to be the same. Like someone might put money and the other would put commodity, or someone put a commodity and the other put a different commodity. Now, each one of the two partners, the first type of this partnership, act on his own type of commodity as the primary authorized person, and act on his partner belongings as an agent or wakil. Okay, but here in Sharikat al-Muwafawada, you act as if you are the owner of everything. Each one of the partners has that right. Okay, and this is why it's called Mufawada. Mufawada means each one of them fawwada. Each one of them gave the authority to the other to take decisions, buy, sell, lend, borrow, things like that. Each one of them has an equal authority to do that. Some of the shurut or the condition of this type of partnership, that the partner's capital that is invested must be equal. Each partner should put equal capital, equal share. Each partner equally shares the profit or the losses. If there are losses or profits, it will be shared equally by all partners. While in the first type, which is Sharikat Al-Inan, the losses are shared based on their shares, and the profits based on the agreed on amount or ratios. Each partner has the authority, as I said, to manage and take decision in this type of business. Now, also each one of the partners act as a wakil for the other partner and a kafil. A wakil, he can perform any type of decisions or management decision. Kafil, that he is liable for other partners' debt. Okay, if any one of the partners borrowed money, of course for the business, okay, and this is his decision, each one will bear that. It will be the liability and the responsibility of all the partners. So everything, simply in this type of partnership, that everything is shared by them. losses, debts, profits, anything will be shared equally between the partners of this type of partnership. Now, the third type of trading partnership is sharikat al-wujuh or sharikat al-wajaha. Al-wujuh from wajaha, which means that the person who is distinguished has a name, reputation in the market, at very good creditworthiness. So those two partners with those qualities, with no capital, do not have any capital in their hand, they get together to do business. So they purchase items or merchandise on credit because people trust them, and they do the business and then distribute the profits among themselves according to an agreed ratio. So if they agreed, for example, 50-50 or 40-60, 50% to 50% or 40% to 60%, okay? Then whatever profit they got after paying off the debt, because they started the business on a debt, okay? So they should pay the debt first, and then the profits should be distributed among themselves according to the agreed ratio. Now, this is, as I said, is acceptable by the scholars. And the losses here, because there is no capital, no shares in capital provided, so the losses will be distributed according to the ratio of the profit. So the one who will get 60% of the profit, he will bear 60% of the losses. Yeah, because there is no capital provided here. They only, both of them, they use their reputation and creditworthiness to establish the company. Okay. Of course, the profit does not have to be 50-50 because, they also work and do, effort. So one of them might do more effort or have more skills than the other, so he is entitled to a higher ratio than the other. As I said, it's generally accepted, this type is accepted generally by the scholars, especially the Hanafi and the Hanbali. They accepted this type of partnership. The Malikis and some of the Shafi'is rejected this kind of partnership, and their view is that, a company usually involves labor and capital, okay, and none of those here. To start that labor here, they mean profession, like people who invested their profession or invested the capital, or both the capital and the profession. He said neither one of them is here. But they are using their creditworthiness and that people trust them to establish the capital. They don't have the capital in the beginning, but they have the ability and the capability to have the capital. And this is the argument of the other scholars who accepted this type of partnership. The fourth type of trading partnership is sharikat al-abdan. Abdan is a plural of badan, and badan means body. And as I said, in this type of partnership, that the partners have no capital, but they have profession. It could be the same profession or different profession. The majority of the scholars said they can have different profession and form a company, but the Malikis put a condition that the profession should be the same, like if they are both of them are carpenters or plumbers or IT professionals, it's the same profession. For the others, they said no, they can be of different profession. One is an IT professional and the other one is a tailor, for example, or a carpenter. Okay? As long as they agreed on forming a partnership and distributing the profit among themselves according to the agreed on ratios. Okay? Now, this is sharikat al-wujuh. Also, it's called sharikat al-sanaya. Sanaya means profession because it deals with professions, okay? Or sharikat al-a'mal, the sharika of labor, because there is no capital provided, but only labor or skills and professions. This type of musharaka, as I said, two professionals undertake to finish a certain job, like for example tailoring, sewing, or they are carpenters, or things like that, according to the agreement between them to distribute the profits, like in a ratio, okay? And if there are losses, they will distribute the losses among themselves in accordance to the same ratio, the same profit ratio, because there is no capital provided in this type of company. But this is a general rule. A general rule in partnership, the profits are distributed according to the agreed ratio, and the losses are shared according to the shares, if there is a capital provided, or according to the ratio of the distribution of the profits if there is no capital is provided. This is in general the basic principles of partnership in Islam. Inshallah, next week we're going to talk about the contracts of charity. Alhamdulillah, we finished talking about the contract of exchange and contract of partnership. Inshallah, the last type of contracts in Islam is the contract of charity, like the gift and al-wasiyah, which is the will. Inshallah, we'll talk in details about those topics. And after that, only few remaining items, inshallah, we'll talk about it, like lent items, like lending and borrowing, not money, lending and borrowing items. Okay, like lending or borrowing a car from a brother, okay, and all the rules. And also we'll talk about al-luqata. Al-luqata is found items. If someone found or lost and found, okay, there are a lot of rules related to those issues. Inshallah, that will be the last part of this series of business transactions in Islam. Inshallah, this concludes today's lecture. نعم. والله تعالى أجل وأعلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على محمد.